Hello and welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage. Wednesday afternoon, late afternoon, once again. Seems to be video shooting time every day lately. Today is about some handy tools, useful tools, and one tool that I was curious about and bought that I had to see what it was all about. So for starters, the linkage seal on the TH400, I have installed, I wouldn't even want to guess how many. I bought this snap-on 3/8 chrome socket set when the summer I was 15. It was expensive. I'm still using them almost every day. I've never even warranted one of them. This 1/2-inch socket is well worn, but I've used it tapping in the linkage seal for every TH400 I've ever built up until last week, with few exceptions. When I do that, there's no support for the seal, but there's a pretty generous relief in a stock case. The seal will almost sit there, and then I just have to line up the socket and pound it in. It never gave me any trouble, so I never really thought I needed to do anything different. I do have, and I talked about this a few years ago, this seal driver is part of a kit where there's a remover, and allegedly you can remove the seal without stripping the transmission or the dropping the pan and pulling the linkage apart. And this goes over the shift shaft, and you can drive a new seal in, but all that does, the shaft is still rusty. You know, this piece is always going to be rusty. This side right here, you know, over time is exposed to the elements for decades on end. You put a new seal over that, I'm not sure how useful that tool is. If you were working on new cars, maybe it would save you having to drop the pan and take the shaft out like you should. But in my world, they're too far gone for that. So this was no better than a socket. Actually, it wasn't even as handy, so it sits in the toolbox, and I use a 1/2-inch socket nearly every time. Until last week, I had a brand new SFI case built by Transmission Specialties, and there was very little chamfer with a seal needed to go into the case, and I ruined 2 seals. And if you know me, these are at least $3 a piece, if not more. And I have to buy more anyway, but now I could have built, you know, 2 more transmissions plus the one I used, so that was upsetting. So right mid-project, it took me literally, if I say 15 minutes, that was, you know, design to completion. I took a piece of just 3/4 rod that I keep right under the bench here. Just guessed at a length. I cut this to about 10 thousandths less than the shaft size than this, which is 1/2 inch, so 3/4 rod. I machined it down to 0.490. Now, you put the seal over the tool. This is registering in the bore of the case, and now all you gotta do is tap on the end, and it lines it up perfect, and it put the seal right in that case with very minimal chamfer. And never again will I use my 1/2-inch socket. You know, my snap-on socket that belongs in the museum is gonna have an easy life from here on out. Although I still use it to drive in the plug I put in for the electrical pass-through when I don't have a need to run electricity inside the pan. I still choose this, so next I should make myself a little driver that fits that perfectly. Again, I'm surprised I haven't, but I just keep leaning on my 1/2-inch socket. So that's the first thing I wanted to share. The next tool really has me scratching my head. Let me read you the part number. It's a genuine Kentmore J tool. It's a J38695. And it says it will install the spiral lock on a 4L80E direct drum. That, of course, we retrofit into the TH400. So, and the Kentmore description says it is virtually impossible to install the spiral lock on the back of the direct drum without this tool. Funny part is this tool is not listed in the manual, in the 3L give me a 4L80E manual. That's a 3L80E manual, but it's not listed in the ATSG manual or any GM paperwork that I've found. When you Google it right now, take that part number, put it in the old Google machine, you're gonna see that there's several places have this tool marked down to $341, down from $360 or $70. I saw it on eBay for $19 shipped. For that, I was willing to see what the fuss was all about. And if you have one and are good at using it, I wish you would comment on that, because here's what I've found. The spiral lock itself has little grooves. You can't see them, but trust me, there's little screwdriver holes, if you will, and there's 2 half moons on either side of the drum. And there's no problem at all with your pocket screwdriver to lift up the spiral lock and pull it out, and then you just stretch it out a little bit and feed it around with your finger. And sometimes the very last step, I take another screwdriver, and you have to tap in, because it's 3 layers, the spiral lock, by the time it goes down. Sometimes you got to just, organize them a little bit, but there's plenty of room. There's nothing, forcing up on it, or, it's wide open. It's never even been a concern that I need a tool for this. But here was this tool, and all I've successfully been able to make it do is, let me loosen it up a little bit, is to set it in here. It registers inside, and if I turn it the direction, opposite direction of the spiral lock, so I'm smoothing it out, it will do that step for me. If it's sticking out, instead of me having to hammer it, I can put it on the same, stretch it out, spin it, spiral it on there, and then the last step, if there's a leg hanging out, I can put this, and this little offset here will snap that thing in for me. But that's it. That's all I've made it do. I thought maybe you put the spiral lock on here. I messed with this thing for like an hour. Maybe you load it on the outside, and all you gotta do is put it on and go like that. Nope, you have to still manually put it on there. All this thing does is prevent you from having to get a screwdriver and a hammer and tap it in there. So, is it worth $19? Will I ever use it? I'll let you know. But again, it's genuine. Kentmore, USA. It seems I'm probably missing something. Excuse me. Again, I didn't find any documentation on how you're supposed to use it, which Kentmore is usually good about that, but I haven't done a lot of research. It just showed up the other day, and I wanted to share it with you. The third item is not a tool, it's a part. When you install a 4L80E, like the one I'm going to convert to 2-wheel drive soon, I promise, the spread cool lines, the rear one, which has the long extension on it, which internally goes into the center support for lube. They've run the lube to the back of the transmission. But when you have the conversion dash 6 fitting on there, or even the stock ones, it takes up a lot of real estate, and the floorboard back there in most vehicles gets pretty narrow. In my half-ton Dodge, 84 Dodge D150, or 100, I had to dent the floor so the cool line wouldn't rub. I saw these Banjo style fittings. These are popular. It'd be a washer on either side of the black piece. There's enough to do 2 of them here. This is obviously the rear one. But this allows you to put a dash 6 a lot closer to the transmission instead of having to have, a 90-degree elbow there. That's where you get in trouble. So I think this is a good solution. I was worried, and that's why I bought 2 sets, but I was worried that sometimes this style fitting, obviously the oil has to make a 90-degree corner, that the hole wouldn't be big enough that transfers the oil, but I'm happy to say the hole in the bolt is the same size as the dash 6 fitting. So again, the oil has to go in, it goes around the Banjo into the hole in the bolt and goes this way. So it's not, you see these a lot on fuel systems and stuff, especially on European cars. You probably wouldn't want to put it on the injector hat on your top fuel car, but I think in this situation, it's a good solution. So when I install the next 4L80E, I'll let you know how it works out. And before you ask, I found these on eBay, just like that. All right, so that's it. Pretty quick video today. I did find a little bit of time to continue to pick away at my TH400. Really doing the nitty-gritty stuff. I put a dump valve that I made, and there's a video in the playlist about it a couple years ago. I bought the Hydroforce valve at the Discount Hydraulics, or one of those places. It's all in the video. It's pretty common solenoid, electric solenoid that everybody uses. And I plumbed up the first one. It's just a pure external one, probably minimally effective, but at the time, of course, I bought 2 of them and almost enough fittings to plumb another one. So my goal is to make this one, I'll have the electrical plugs, everything will be literally plug and play right down to the mount and everything else. So there is a 90-degree 1/8-inch pipe fitting on the other transmission and a low-dollar Motorsports 300 PSI pressure sender under the shield, because of course I have to have a shield on the body. That's another advantage of an SFI case. I wouldn't have to have a shield, but with the 90-degree adapter and the sender threaded in, the wire runs out behind the shield. That's a piece of cake. So I don't want to have to pull the shield off to change the transmission. So I'll buy another sender and again, have everything. That's what, when I knew I was going to do that, I might as well plumb up a whole nother dump valve and have the thing ready to go. So the parts are just sitting here in the box, so why not? So that's it for today. I'm going to call it quits. And like Rat Rod Bob says, give the rest of my, take the rest of the day off with pay. I got it right that time. I find him humorous. Anyway, have a nice night. Talk to you soon.